TNA follows up their first Impact on AMC with Genesis tonight. Guys, they're beating me down. I don't want to be that guy, but man, am I tired. Let's talk about it.
Uh-oh.
Yes, boy!
French toast is the exchange student that you have like a 3-week affair with.
Hey, we can see that you don't have pants on.
Somebody hit somebody with a pie. Do something.
Giovanni yelling we're out of time as we go off the air.
Giovanni yelling a lot of things tonight.
And welcome to the Mark It Down podcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Mark It Down podcast. I am James Gisanti, and we are here on this fine Saturday night, almost Sunday morning, to talk TNA Genesis. First pay-per-view of the year for TNA, hot off the heels of their new TNA AMC era. I was a lot more, I don't know what the word is. I guess I was a lot more positive than a lot of people were about TNA's debut on AMC this last Thursday. I wasn't necessarily thrilled with the product, but I wasn't upset. I felt that there was room for them to do more. I felt that 3 matches was kind of rough, but overall, I was happy with what they did give us. I was trying to focus on the positives. I sat with it a little bit more, and it was rough for me. Like my opinion went down a little bit, but I still think that I stayed mostly positive. And I went into tonight thinking this was going to make up for any disappointment that we were feeling on Thursday, that Genesis was going to provide us with some highlights, some surprises, and just, an overall feeling of a stronger direction. Now, still needs to be noted that apparently TNA is still heavily dealing with these visa issues that are affecting their roster. We've seen it with Dani Luna, who couldn't compete for the Knockouts title, so she was replaced by NXT's Zarya. And the big glaring omission was the X Division champion, Leon Slater, who is stuck right now in his home country. He's stuck in England. And due to that, he was able to work with WWE during their European tour. And he got to be on SmackDown last night, which is great. I'm very happy for Leon. I'm very happy to see the X Division Championship on WWE main roster television. That's awesome. But it's hurting TNA to not have these talents. Dani Luna, who feels the heir apparent to the women's title, to the Knockouts title. The X Division Championship. Leon Slater, who is one of the hottest acts in wrestling right now, no matter the company. So it's a bummer, but we're choosing to focus on the positive. We're choosing to focus on what we did get, for better or for worse, and we're going to talk about it. But the truth is, tonight left me, that feeling of disappointment continued, and maybe even worsened. But we'll talk about it, we'll deal with it, and let's get into it. I will be the first to tell you guys, I did not really check out the pre-show. I tried. I don't know what my issue was, but I couldn't really get into it, couldn't really watch it. But I'll just briefly get into it. The TNA International Championship was on the line. NXT's Stax, who is holding the championship, took on Eric Young, BDE, and a mystery 4th person, a new signee to TNA. And let me tell you, very happy to report that KJ Orso is now crossed the line and is a part of the TNA roster. Now, if you don't know who KJ Orso is, Fuego del Sol, the former Fuego, is now in TNA, the unmasked Fuego. Very happy to see him there. I think he has a lot to offer. He's a young talent with a lot of heart, a lot of drive. Was very easily able to get himself over in AEW as Fuego. So I would love to see what he can bring with his personality without the mask on TNA television. Congratulations. Again, very briefly, Stacks retained, and there you go. We then had a little bit of backstage stuff where Daria, the new, I guess, authority figure alongside Santino, criticized Santino for making the match, saying that it was an irrational decision that came from anger surrounding Stacks. And apparently this idea was to punish Stacks, but all he did was prove that he belonged here. He was very upset. And then this led to our next match, where Tessa Blanchard and Mila Moore defeated Indy Hartwell and Vicious Vicky Venuto, who Vicky had sort of been at the mercy of the Diamond Collective, Tessa and the Diamond Collective, who were rude to her backstage, and that led to that matchup. I'm surprised that, considering the fact that they are very clearly keeping Tessa around, how little they're highlighting her. She wasn't on the AMC premiere. She has been nowhere near the Knockouts world title. She has challenged for the Knockouts tag team titles a couple of times, but no big win there. And again, not on the premiere, and was only on the pre-show here. I'm not rooting for her. I'm not advocating for her. I don't want more of her. But if she's there, she is, for better or for worse, a name. I'm just surprised that they're just using her the way they are. They had the stones, I guess. I don't know. To sign her back, despite all of the negativity surrounding her, and they're just not doing anything with it. So they're getting all the heat for having her, but none of the reward of using her, I guess. But I don't know. It just seems a little silly to me. But regardless, let's move on to the main show itself, as we had former first-class teammates AJ Francis and Rich Swann going one-on-one after their split, after their falling out. Hello, Hunter. How you doing? I hope you're doing well. Hunter, you're the first commenter of the night, so we're going to talk about it. We are still doing the TNA giveaway. You are now entered in that. We are giving away a TNA t-shirt, TNA ball cap, and a Jeff Hardy autograph for everybody that has watched on Thursday and commented on Thursday and now comments tonight, mixed in with people from all other social media platforms. We're going to announce the winner tomorrow. Hunter, you're now part of that. Good luck to you. But to answer your question, when do I think Mike Santana jumps to NXT? I don't know how long his contract is still with TNA. He seems very passionate about TNA, but I think it's also clear that he has aspirations to become a big star, a bigger star. And I think WWE has that platform that they could offer that to him. I don't know. I wouldn't be shocked if the moment his contract is up, he makes the switch to WWE. I don't necessarily know that he goes to NXT. I feel like he'd be one of the rare ones that goes straight to main roster, but I can't prove that. But yeah, I'd say the moment that contract is up, we're going to see Mike Santana switch from TNA to WWE. But he has been waving the TNA flag for a very long time, very proudly, very passionately. So I think he's done all that he'll be able to do there. He does not want to be a tag team guy ever again, so I don't think he's ever going to go for a tag title there. And he's now won the world title twice. The first time we're just going to ignore, but like the second time will probably a proper reign. After that, no idea where he goes, or no idea when he goes, I should say. But good question, and let's try to enjoy him now. But back to the match at hand with AJ and Rich Swann. Francis came out first, and he was flanked by like an entourage. Swann comes out, and while he's doing his entrance, while he's in the ring, sort of dancing and having a good time, Francis attacked him before the bell. This was the fast man versus the juggernaut that is AJ Francis. Swann did his best to hit and run, throwing himself at Francis, diving, jumping, flying through the air. At one point, Francis blocked and then executed the Styles Clash. Instead of the pin, Francis went for a second Styles Clash. This time, Swann was able to counter it for a Canadian Destroyer. AJ kicked out. Swann then followed up with a Frog Splash, 1-2. But AJ got his foot on the ropes. I almost said top dollar. AJ then caught Swann with a spike to the head to the mat, and then it hit a massive choke slam, just absolute monstrous choke slam. 1, 2, 3. AJ Francis pins Rich Swann. Now, I'm a little conflicted here. Obviously, I do think AJ Francis was the right winner because he's the bigger guy. You're still trying to give him a lot of heat as a heel. And Swann, now being the babyface, will be able to bounce back faster, in my opinion. But it does suck to see the bad guy bully continue to beat down his former underling, I guess, even via separation. So that is a little bit of a bummer. But overall, I have hope that Swann is going to be able to rebound, maybe go back to the X Division. He is a former TNA World Champion, a former Impact World Champion specifically. So I am hoping he gets it together. But Francis is definitely looking to do more on the card, go for a singles title, whether it's the international title or go for the world title. We'll see. I do think him versus Santana will be fun, but let's get there. I don't know yet. We then go to a backstage interview with Mike Santana as he's being interviewed by the hardest working woman in TNA, Mean Gia Miller. He thanks everybody for sending their best wishes after he won the title from Frankie Kazarian. He's hyped for tonight. He's ready for this Texas Death Match. He's wearing war paint. And this is a hungry champion. Not a hungry challenger, but a hungry champion. And that's a cool thing to see. So good little promo from Santana. What up, Fernando? How you doing, pal? Thank you for being here. Good late evening. At this point now, depending where you are, good morning. Good morning here on the East Coast. But moving on, we are now going to go to our next match. As an ongoing feud, Elijah taking on Mustafa Ali. Obviously, these guys have gotten heated. Elijah having ridden around an arena on his horse, dragging Mustafa behind with a rope. Very fun, very scary stuff. But this feud is definitely more heated than you would think it would be. At multiple points, Elijah was basically fighting off Order 4. I truly think, I don't want to be hyperbolic. I don't want to be dramatic. I do like him, but I think this might be the best match Elijah has had in TNA. And I'll venture to say one of the best matches he's ever had. Like, I think that I could ever recall him having. This was a very athletic match. He was taking on, obviously, a top-tier opponent in Mustafa Ali. Hi, Maria. How are you, too? I got my crew with me tonight. Thank you guys for being here. I should say this morning now. Mustafa Ali is obviously an S-tier wrestler. He is an incredible opponent. And he brought out the best in Elijah. This was obviously, there were some shenanigans involved with everything. Like I said, with Order 4 just getting so heavily involved. The Great Hands doing their best to try and attack Elijah. At one point, Elijah had Mustafa pinned, and what's his name? Special Agent Zero literally dragged the referee out of the ring. That should have been a DQ. I don't know why it wasn't, but it wasn't. She did eject Order 4. I'm going to agree with you slightly here. I have never been a big fan of Elijah, Elias, Ezekiel, whoever he was. But I did respect the fact that he was able to repeatedly get himself over as either a babyface or as a heel when he was in WWE. I never thought he had it once the bell rang, but talent is talent, and he brought something different. So I always appreciated that. I can fully say that this was an incredible matchup. I truly thought that this was, like I said, I don't know if you heard me say it before, Maria. I think this was quite possibly his best match, not only in TNA, but maybe ever. And Mustafa Ali is just a level beyond. I agree. WWE fumbled him. There were so many opportunities to really get him over. There were so many opportunities where he could have taken the jump into something bigger. I don't think he ever won the Cruiserweight title, which is insane to think about. And at the very least, he should have won a second-tier title, either the Intercontinental or the U.S. title. The fact that they never did it, weird, very weird, but, I don't book for them, unfortunately. So... But yeah, this match was very good. Once Order 4 was ejected, at one point Tasha Steelz brings in a guitar. Elijah grabbed the guitar, took it away from her, grabbed her for a pile driver, was really going to drop her. But as he's got her in position, Ali hits him with the guitar. The ref is still distracted by ejecting Order 4. And it's at this point, Mustafa is able to pin him. 1, 2, 3. That is it. Mustafa gets the win. I think the deserved win. I get that Elijah's a big deal for them, or they're trying to treat him like a big deal, but I think Mustafa Ali is where they should be putting their eggs in whatever basket. I know he was supposed to be in his position. I don't think he was ever going to win the title, though. I know that Kofi was a replacement in the Elimination Chamber, but which worked out for everybody. Kofi Mania was incredible. The only person it didn't work out for was, unfortunately, Mustafa Ali. But I don't think Mustafa was ever going to hit the heights that Kofi did at that time. Not that Mustafa isn't capable of, hitting high highs in WWE or anywhere, but in that specific situation, I think Kofi being the replacement for that specific match led to everything it did for Kofi. I don't think Mustafa was going to take it to Mania with Bryan. I don't know what the plan would have been, but I don't think it was supposed to be Ali. Moving on, we had JDC, Johnny Dango Curtis's retirement match as he took on fellow system member, fellow teammate Eddie Edwards. Dango had made it very clear to Eddie throughout, the setup for this matchup that he did not want Eddie to take it easy on him. He was going to bring his best to Eddie, and he wanted the best back from Eddie. I thought the match itself was fine, unfortunately. I didn't think it was anything super special. But I am very happy that the crowd was there for Dango. They really did give him love. They were fandangoing, which was, a throwback. They really did give him love throughout this match, so that made me happy. There was a fun bit. I don't know if anybody else noticed it, but there was a fun bit where Eddie has Curtis in a sleeper hold, and it looks like it's going to be the end. He's going to pass out, but instead of passing out, he fights out of it. And he almost had a smile on his face for this, or I think he did have a smirk on his face for it. I thought that was a cheeky little way of sort of making fun of the Cena retirement. Whether you loved it or hated it, I do think it was funny. The finish of the match coming with Dango kicking out of a Boston Knee Party. Eventually, when it was all said and done, 3 Boston Knee Parties and and a diehard driver. That last Boston Knee Party, Dango just asking for him to give it to him. He gets it. 1, 2, 3. All of the system comes out to celebrate with Dango as his in-ring wrestling career is now over. A good portion of the locker room came out to celebrate him. The crowd gave him his flowers. It was a sweet moment for a talent who I didn't know has been in wrestling for over 20 years. That's great. It's hard to really wrap your head around it sometimes, but it makes sense. So Dango, thank you for everything. I was there when you beat Jericho at Mania. I wish you well in whatever is next. And now the system is a man down until Thursday when they will announce their latest member of the system. After this, I'm so sorry, but I didn't put it in. I don't have a thing for it. But Ariana Grace. Oh, I guess next, but screw it. It doesn't matter. I can talk about it. Ariana Grace is backstage with Stax, the international champion. They reiterate Daria Ray's criticism of Santino, saying that he is not fit for the job. He is making emotional decisions. And Ariana suggests to Santino to start making things that benefit the business before he loses his job. Oh, poor guy. You try to raise him right, and this is how they pay you back. It's sad to see. We then went to a match that I had a lot of trouble with. I did not enjoy this one. I wanted to because I enjoy both people involved in the match. And you guys know me. I've been doing this with you guys for a long time. It is very, very, very rare that I just straight up say I don't like a match. This one bugged me. And not for maybe the reasons that you might think. Mara Shade took on Ryan Nemeth. Now, I love that TNA does intergender matches. I love it. And I get that not every intergender match can have the female star win. Not every instance can the woman beat the man, because then it sort of defeats the purpose. If it's a WWE thing, it's maybe a little bit different. But TNA runs these matches enough that you need to have somewhat of a balance. It can be a little skewed, but there needs to be somewhat of a balance. I don't mind that Ryan Nemeth won. Sorry for the spoiler. I don't mind that Ryan Nemeth won. And I appreciate that he cheated to win. He pinned her using the ropes. The referee was making his damn job to not look at it. But my issue was he basically bullied her throughout the entire match. Was very, very heelish. And she only ever got one moment where it looked like she could have built some momentum. Not even beaten him, but just built some momentum. Where she hits a tornado DDT. There was one moment very early on in the match, like opening moments of the match. He gets her in the corner and he kind of just like pushes her face, smacks her face aside, and then he goes, plays the heel to the crowd, gets on the ropes and is like taunting the crowd and everything. And she's just standing there behind him. And it would have been such a great moment instead if she rolled him up for the pin. Not to get the win, but to just pin him and say, you can't not take me seriously. But basically the entire match, he did not take her seriously. At one point, he backdrops her on the outside. She's on the floor, in pain, on the floor, on the outside. And Nemeth is standing above her saying, "You love me. I know you love me." And it was so creepy. It was so creepy. Like, I don't know. Like, to have him be that weird, to have him be that creepy, to continue to just beat her down, not beat her down, like it wasn't an assault, but like to just basically wear her down and then cheat to win. And just, what was the point of this? Ryan Nemeth is a guy who is Teflon. You could decimate him every week and it just makes him stronger because it builds into his loser character so well. And again, I'm not saying he needed to lose to Sade, but it was all him except for basically one move, and it was a bummer to me. Fernando saying fun match. Look, I mean, if you guys liked it, I'm happy. Maybe I'm just being an old curmudgeon about it, but it just didn't work for me. Again, I need it on the record. I don't need every knockouts versus male superstar match to have the knockouts win or look dominant. Mara Shade should not be presented as Jordan Grace. But there is something to just the dynamic of how these matches should go on some level. She never looked like she had a shot at winning. And it wasn't even just an underdog situation. It just looked like he was toying with her the entire time and then just cheated to win anyway. I don't know. For me, it didn't work. Hello. Thank you for being here. So happy you're here. So happy you had a safe trip. Never told me how it was, but I'm glad you're here and I appreciate it. And you. Maria's saying it was very weird. I agree. I don't think it's me. I think it's something just I don't think this was booked the way it should have been booked. They built up Marashade super kicking Nemeth so many times, at least twice over the last few weeks, and never hits a super kick. Like, I said what I said. Never hits a super kick. I don't know. Weird to me. I if they run it back, I would like to see Sade get the win. I think they're I don't know. Weird. But I'm spending more time talking about the match than the match was long. So let's move on. The TNA Knockouts World Championship on the line as Lei Ying Li defends against NXT's Zarya. I enjoyed this one a lot. Again, this was another instance of the powerhouse wrestler taking on the striker. Zarya is a tank, and Lei Ying Li was just having to bring the fight via strikes. Both women had corner people. Lei Ying Li was joined by her tag team partner, Zaya Brookside. Zarya was joined by Sol Ruka, her tag team partner. Neither woman really got involved until, for some reason, the Elegance brand. Oh, I know why. The Elegance brand is going to be defending the TNA tag team titles against Zarya and Sol Ruka on NXT this upcoming Tuesday. They're winning the titles. Just let me let you guys know that right now. They're more than likely winning the titles. This was a lot of fun. I thought both women really brought the heat, really brought the action to this one. Eventually, the finish came after Lee countered Zarya's finisher for a DDT, that spinning facebuster. She hits the DDT and then hits a spinning heel kick and then leads that right into the Warrior Way Slam. Very impressive that she was able to hit it. 1, 2, 3, Lei Ying Li gets the win. Afterwards, she shakes hands with Zarya. They exchange respect for one another, but they are interrupted by Elena Black. Elena Black, who it has been reported has signed a 1-year contract with TNA, so she's going to be with us for a while. Setting her sights on that Knockouts title makes sense. I'm very interested to see where I don't think she'll win it, but she's going to win it eventually. I wonder if this in any way disrupts the Danny Luna plans. If there were plans to put the title on her, I would imagine there was. I love Lei Ying Li, but she definitely does not feel like she's going to hold on to that title for super long. And I thought Luna made the most sense, but if she's going to be dealing with these visa issues for the foreseeable future, maybe it should go to Black instead. Time will tell. We'll see how it goes. Moving on to, again, just another weird matchup for me. And I feel bad saying it because I don't think the match itself was bad. I just really don't enjoy the story with it. And I don't enjoy how the Righteous are being presented. But the TNA World Tag Team Championships on the line as the Hardys, Matt and Jeff, defend against the Righteous, Vincent and Dutch. Fernando saying he wanted Indy Hartwell to win the Knockouts title. I think there was a brief shining moment where that was very, very possible. I don't want to say she's never going to win that title. I think she will eventually, but it also depends on how long she's going to be around for TNA. If she's just signed on to that contract until she can maybe get back into WWE, I would not do that. I would not put the title on her necessarily, or I would not invest in her too much. I like Indy a lot. I think she's a great talent. I think she's got a great personality, and she very clearly loves what she's doing. She puts her effort into it. But I get her not being a super priority, but I can't really say there's anyone in the Knockouts division that outright just feels like they should be Knockouts champion. So I think it's anybody's ball game. Indy could easily get herself back into the title scene and feel like a legitimate challenger. We'll see how it goes. Rooting for her, though. Big fan. But this match, again, guys, I I didn't like the storyline with the Righteous leading into the Hardys. It felt super contrived. It felt super forced. Just let them be the heels. They can play mind games all they want, but just let them be heels. It felt too, we're trying to be mysterious for the sake of mystery. And then when the heel turn outright did happen on this last Impact, okay, I thought you were a heel to begin with, so I'm not shocked by it. And I want to hit this for Maria. I enjoy the Righteous too. I really enjoyed them in Ring of Honor. I enjoyed Vincent in his previous TNA run. I'm not as familiar with Dutch, but I am familiar enough with him, and I think they've got a good vibe. I just don't think they were booked well at all going into this match with the Hardys. The Hardys who, brought the fight to the Righteous out the gate. They just beat Vincent down on the outside. It was kind of hilarious to see these two guys beat down the much bigger. I'm sorry. I said Vincent, Dutch. At multiple points, the Righteous were just, beating Matt down until Matt hits a twist of fate out of nowhere, gets the hot tag to Jeff. But Dutch, again, just being his powerhouse, holding him back. The Righteous went for a finish where they actually went for the extreme combo. Dutch hits the twist of fate onto Matt, and then Vincent hits the swanton onto Matt. It was a little awkward, though, because I don't know if Jeff wasn't in the right position or they just moved themselves too far, but it was very clear Jeff was just lying in wait to break up the pin. And I don't know if I blame the camera crew. I don't know if I blame who to blame, but it did come across as very awkward. At this point, the Hardys, take control of the match. They throw Dutch to the outside. Matt is getting ready to hit his twist of fate onto Vincent, but Vincent backs away, and then Dutch gets on the microphone and he says, Jeffrey, this is what we wanted. We wanted to hurt. Okay. Well, they got what they want. Matt hits the twist of fate. Jeff hits the swanton. Dutch never comes in, and the Hardys pin Vincent 1, 2, 3. It's at this point, the usual deal with these title matches now is that TNA president Carlos Silva comes into the ring and gives the titles to the winner. At this point, though, Dutch basically asks him to let him do it. He grabs the belts and slips the titles to the Hardys. Everything was just super weird. Even commentary was just like, I thought this would be it, but I guess there's probably another chapter coming. And it's like, why? What are we doing? What are we doing? I don't mind a gimmick where wrestlers are like, we want to get hurt, or we want to feel the pain, or we want to bring something out of you. It worked many times in the past. Mick Foley with his Mankind gimmick was very much that. He did not mind. He enjoyed the pain. Cool. But this was just awkward. They wanted to lose? I know that they were saying in the feud going up into this that they wanted to bring something out of the Hardys. They wanted the Hardys to ascend to a new level. I get that. But this was just Teddy bonkers. Teddy bonkers. I agree. Vincent would be a great fit for the Wyatt Six. I think Dutch would be too. I think because there was rumored a long time ago that these two were going to be in some way entwined with the Wyatts. I don't know if it was during Bray's, Fiend era, or what was going to be his Uncle Howdy era before, obviously his passing, or if it was supposed to be with this version of the Wyatt Six. But I would love to see that interaction at some point. I think it could really work. Give it time. Maybe. We then move on to a mixy match. And again, this one bothered me too. I feel really bad because I enjoyed the match, but I just don't appreciate what they were doing here. This match got turned around a lot. And again, we saw the video before this match where Leon Slater delivered a little message to the TNA audience saying that he's very upset that he couldn't be with us tonight. He's dealing with these visa issues that are beyond his control or TNA's control, but he cannot wait to be back. And I get it. It's unfortunate. I would have hoped that TNA would have been able to be on top of this a long time ago, but I know the world is a weird place right now, so I'm not blaming anybody in particular. Or if I am, I'm just not saying it on the pod. But this match that went from being Cedric Alexander having earned an X Division title match to now just a triple threat for the sake of it. Cedric taking on Moose and WWE's Joe Hendry, NXT's Joe Hendry. The story of this match was a couple of things. Cedric, who is the rightful number one contender for the X Division Championship. Moose, who has unfortunately been on somewhat of a losing streak, both in TNA and NXT. And, of course, Joe Hendry being Joe Hendry and coming back to TNA, having not appeared or wrestled for the company in several months because he's not with TNA anymore. If he is, nobody cares. He's with WWE and NXT now. Halfway through the match, it looked as if Moose got hurt, and he got taken out of the match saying his back really hurt. And this wasn't like a heel saying, oh, I'm too hurt to do it. He got hurt, and medical team came to check on him. Carlos Silva went to check on him. Alicia, who was out with him, was checking on him. And the match just continues with Cedric and Hendry. Eventually, Moose powers through, comes back, and I really liked it. But Moose, despite coming back strong, isn't enough to get the win. He does hit a spear, but he goes for a spear, but his back gives out, allowing Cedric to hit the lumbar check to him and throw him out of get thrown out of the ring. And then this allows Hendry to swoop in, grab Cedric for the standing ovation, and get the win. 1, 2, 3. He's gone. He's not a TNA star anymore. There were no ramifications to this matchup. Like, the winner wasn't going to get a title shot for something. There was no grander implications. This was just a match. And it was a triple threat, mind you. Hendry could have just not either been pinned or involved in the finish at all, but the WWE guy beat the TNA guy, 2 TNA guys on the TNA pay-per-view. And I don't know why. Granted, I'm not an idiot. I understand what I saw and what I heard. The crowd was eating it up for Hendry. They were cheering him. And maybe this is supposed to be his swan song in TNA, but they never said it. They never made a point of it. They just said he's back, and the crowd is so happy he's here. I love Hendry. I'm a big fan and big supporter of Hendry, but this wasn't his match to win. I don't know. Maybe I'm being an old grump. I don't want to be, guys. I really don't want to be. But there were just so many baffling and confusing and just unsatisfactory decisions made regarding this show, booking wise. Finally, though, we are ready for our main event as the TNA World Championship is on the line in a Texas death match. Mike Santana, having just won the title this last Thursday, defends against former champion Frankie Kazarian with special guest referee Nick Nemeth, the Call Your Shot Gauntlet winner, Nick Nemeth. So TNA's version of this match, because 3 different companies have used this match and they all kind of do it a little differently. TNA's version of this match, you need to pin your opponent, 1, 2, 3, to then enact the ability to get a 10 count on your opponent. If your opponent pins you, you have to pin them again before you could do the 10 count. Interesting. Not sure how I felt about it. It was a little weird. Let me just acknowledge some of these comments. My bad, guys. Maria saying she doesn't believe these visa issues. It's very convenient for WWE SmackDown in London, and that's regarding Leon Slater. I was a little skeptical at first too, and I get that it's very clear WWE is going to nab Leon Slater the moment he's available. The moment his contract is up with TNA, they are going to take him. I don't know that they would hurt TNA to this level and that TNA would accept it. I do legitimately think he probably had these visa issues, and because they were there, why not? But I agree. Convenient is the right word about how this played out if you're on WWE side. And Maria saying, hopefully this was a work for Moose. I'm definitely sure it was. I'm never crazy about these situations in matches where you take an opponent out of the match for an extended period of time. It almost always feels like we're just trying to make sure this guy doesn't go as hard and we need to rest him up a little bit. I get it for logistics reasons, but I always think it's very rare that I think it works in a match. And Fernando saying the TNA locker room must hate this. Look, I don't know. I really don't know. Like, on one hand, I think they love the fact that they're getting more exposure, the new TV deal, the heightened sense of awareness and appreciation from fans due to the connection to WWE. But my God, they feel like, and I've been saying it, they feel like NXT's NXT. I don't know. But back to this match. This was as hard hitting as you'd imagine a Texas Death Match would be. Table spots, outside spots, chair spots, ladder spots. It had it all. It had it all. At both points, both men were able to get the pin on one another. Santana got the first pin. Kazarian got the second pin. Santana then needed to pin him a second time, which he was able to. After hitting Kazarian with a round the block or spin the block lariat wrapped in barbed wire, he's finally able to put Kazarian down. And to Nick Nemeth's credit, he played this match as fair and down the middle as possible. He didn't screw with any of the competitors throughout the match. He played it as a fair referee. After the match, after Santana gets the win, retains his championship, Carlos Silva comes in, puts the title around Santana's waist, or just gives the title to Santana. Nemeth then congratulates Santana before blindsiding him and hitting a danger zone, formerly known as a zigzag. He then says that he wants to cash in his Call Your Shot Gauntlet trophy. He wants to call his shot on Santana. As he gets back in the ring and gets ready to have the match with him, Santana hits him with the spin the block clothesline, and that ends that challenge before it can even begin. Santana stands tall, celebrates his title, defends himself in the way that he couldn't the first time the Call Your Shot Gauntlet was cashed in on him by Kazarian. And that's it, guys. That was the show. And I feel bad because a show's merit shouldn't be judged on what surprises there are or what possible debuts or returns there are. It should just be judged on the quality of the show. But considering we have all been under the impression TNA was going to bring somebody big in, they were going to sign somebody, it just feels lackluster. I feel bad because this should be Santana's big moment. They squandered the first title run. It's a bummer. And this second title win didn't have the same emotion. And I don't know why they ran it back 2 days later. If anything, I get AMC was the bigger show than just Genesis. Like, it's a bummer that their pay-per-view isn't as big as that show, but I understand it. I get it. I don't know why they ran it twice. It was silly to me. It was just silly. But no EC3 return, no Chris Jericho debut. So far of the AMC era, TNA's biggest signings are Sonya Deville, Daria Ray, and Elena Black. Nothing against either of those women. I am rooting for them to do well in TNA. But my God, guys, like, give us something. Like, make it feel like a new era. I don't know. But guys, I appreciate you being with me now this Saturday morning. What was former Friday night, or Sunday morning. What was the former Saturday night? You guys are the best. Maria, Fernando, Final Girl, and Hunter Iggy. Thank you guys so much for being here. If you're one of our regulars and you're already following us, thank you guys so much for keeping the party going. If you're new and you're just checking us out for the first time, we appreciate you checking us out. Hit the subscribe button, hit that like button. Let us know you want to be part of the crew. Be a mark with us. We think it's cool. Our next big show will be the Royal Rumble at the end of the month. Let's see these comments real quick. I'm so sorry, guys. Maria saying she doesn't like that we got this match again. I agree. I don't know why. It felt like there was no stakes to it. The biggest stakes would have been Nemeth cashing in, which we all expected that he would. And unfortunately, we got the cash in without the cash in, so it's still around. They butchered the Call Your Shot Gauntlet Trophy situation this year. Real bummer. Maria saying she was worried TNA was going to TNA again and take the title away from Santana again. I was like 2% worried that that's just a story they want to tell with Santana, or more than that it would probably just signaled he was going to WWE and his time with TNA was done. But thankfully, that wasn't the case. But I understood. I was nervous too. And Maria saying TNA shot themselves in the foot on Impact. I have not seen a debut episode for a show for wrestling be this just almost universally panned. I feel bad for them. I stand by. I don't think it was a terrible show. I just think it was disappointing. It was a lacking show. So that's a bummer. And Maria predicting that Sami Zayn is going to win the Rumble. I think he's as good a pick as any at this point. So far, the only announced person officially is Cody. But I 100% could see Sami going for it and winning. So let's see. We'll see you at the end of the month. But yeah, guys, that was Genesis. That was TNA Genesis. Thank you so much for joining me. I already did the spiel about our regulars. I already did the spiel with the newbies. If you want to give us a like, hit and a subscribe, it would mean so much. Told you we're going to see you guys at the Rumble. And of course, we'll be here next week. We'll be doing Raw. We'll be doing Dynamite. We'll be doing Impact. And we'll see what else we could do with you. We appreciate it. The giveaway winner will be announced tomorrow, so be ready for that. If you're one of our YouTube winners, if our winner is one of you guys here from YouTube, we will let you know on our next episode. We'll announce it there, but we're going to be announcing the winner on social media. And so check us out there too. Check us out. You know the deal. Follow us: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Blue Sky. Check us out. You'll find out if you won tomorrow. But guys, my name is Jay. Oh, we have Tyler here at the end. Tyler, hey Tyler, how are you? Tyler thinks their production needs help. I am unfortunately inclined to agree with you. It just feels like the same show, and it doesn't necessarily look bad, but they've got new AMC money. Use that money to make your production look a little bit stronger, I guess. A little fresher. Hopefully they find their footing soon. Maria, I'm rooting for you. I'm rooting for all of you guys. I would love to see any one of you guys win it. But I'm James Giusanti. This is the Market Down podcast. And when we cover TNA, whether it's on Thursdays or Saturdays, this is the Gym Pack Zone. Thank you so much. I love you guys. Truly do. Can't wait for this year to keep on going and keep on pushing with you guys. I think next week I'm going to debut a surprise. So we'll talk. Everybody, have a great night. Have a great weekend, rest of your weekend. Be careful with this weather. Later.